is the 77 WABC minicast.
It's time for Radio Royalty with James Golden and America's Princess of Policy, Princess Di.
Yes, my friends, the sweetness of American politics, Her Highness, Her Wonderfulness, Her Everythingness when it comes to analysis-ness. Princess Diana, this is in our house. Good morning, Your Highness, and welcome. How are you?
Oh, Sir James, and the newly dubbed Duke of Democracy, thanks to one of your wonderful callers, and I agree.
Ah, yes, the Duke of Democracy. I'll have to get my own theme for that, the Duke of Democracy. Your Highness, what an incredible week it has been. So much happening. Your take on where we are with the Iran war that seems to, it is now entering today enters the fourth week of this conflict.
Well, if you read the mainstream media and much of the online bots, I believe, you would believe what the message is consistently, which is Iran has already won. And that is coming from storied newspapers like the Wall Street Journal today, whose headline is, Iran sees an opening to control Mideast energy over long run. And let me read you the first paragraph of the Wall Street Journal. 3 weeks into the war, Iran's regime is signaling that it believes it is winning and has the power to impose a settlement on Washington that entrenches Tehran's dominance of Middle East energy resources for decades to come. And the Wall Street Journal says the Iranian leadership currently possesses significant leverage for a deal with the U.S. The current conflict may prove the regime, if it survives, with renewed strength at home. And it seriously lists Iran's demands, which are massive reparations, the U.S. military out of the Middle East, and that Iran permanently controls the Strait of Hormuz. And this is treated seriously not only by the Wall Street Journal, but by all of the mainstream coverage. It is relentless. It is ABC, NBC, CBS, which is that Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He has made mistake after mistake. The United States is losing in every way, and Trump is about to turn tail and run. And none of this is true, not a single thing. And it is remarkable to me that the polling basically has a pretty good poll numbers. The American people are not falling for this after a mere 3-4 weeks. That we are in a quagmire, all of the things that the media is saying. And just to recap, that some of the highlights that the United States has effectively done, we have decapitated the Iranian leadership. We have killed their generals, the mullahs, and the secret police. We have put their navy on the bottom of the ocean. We have destroyed what was left of their Air Force. They have no air defense capability. We have ruined their missile and nuke manufacturing ability. We have destroyed hundreds of bases. We have had 8,000 sorties and 8,000 targets on that country. And they are afraid of their own population, the leadership. And one of the results of what they have done, which is just randomly spray their neighbors with bombs, is that the Gulf states are with the United States. And the fact that we have total air supremacy has allowed us to unfettered access of all of our targets. And so one of the things that I can say is the media is lying And the other thing they were celebrating, that so many of our used to be allies were not with us. They said, this is not our war in Europe, and we're not going to help. And then suddenly this week, they issued a statement saying they will participate and support the United States in reopening Hormuz. That is South Korea. That's a recent joiner of this statement. Japan, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, Netherlands, and Canada are suddenly saying that they will assist and support the United States efforts in the Gulf, which is the opposite of what they were saying in the previous weeks. So the pressure that the United States is exerting is effective, not only in the theater of the battle itself, but with the coalition building that it is doing worldwide. And one of the interesting things that Bessent announced, I saw a long explanation yesterday of allowing Iran to sell oil, which, of course, when the media reports it, it is seen as a defeat. But when you read the reasoning by the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, it is such a strategic win for us. There are 140 million barrels stranded at sea that Iran has basically released as just wandering around. Those are the barrels. They've already been paid for, that Scott Bessent is going to allow to continue to their destination. And he has frozen much of the leadership of Iran's money and funding, so they do not have access to it. So this is part of what Bessent says, that the United States is bringing 440 million additional barrels of oil to market. And so that is all designed to release some of the strains on the oil market, the energy market, which is still in process. This problem has not been solved on the Strait of Hormuz, but it is being solved by the administration, who is methodically destroying the opposition. We just bombed one of the nuke facilities again. We hit Natanz. I don't know if you read about that. Just this
yes,
morning,
I did this morning. Yes,
with bunker busters again. So we are preventing, which is, everyone says, well, what is the purpose of this war? This is the purpose of this war. We are preventing this country, Iran, from ever again threatening the world with nuclear weapons. And one of the things that happened, which has gotten very little coverage, I don't know if you saw, but Iran fired 2 IRBMs, which is the intermediate range ballistic missiles, at Diego Garcia. Now, they did not hit. One of them failed midair, but one of them was intercepted by a U.S. warship. But it reached 2,500 miles, which everyone who was cynical and not believing the Trump administration, everyone in the rest of the expert class said that Iran did not have the capacity to do. Iran could not threaten Europe. Well, they launched 2 that proved that they can. And that was the goal of Iran, to be able to arm those missiles with nukes and control the world. And so basically they fired them and proved that Trump had been correct. So there's been a lot more information that is coming out. Unfortunately, the American people are not being given that information by the mainstream media. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to summarize some of that. But we are in amazing position as the United States of America, with a targeted, focused president who is going to affect his policies, and the world will benefit, even though they're all complaining about it at this point.
All right, talk to me for a minute about the new Vindman. During the Bush, we had this, the first administration, we had the old Vindman who thought he ran everything from his perch. And now we have this guy, Joe Kent, that's all over the place, along with these others. And basically, the theme of the Joe Kents of the world, and some other well-known conservatives, I have to say, is the Jews made us do it. I'm just bummed. That's what they're all getting at. I don't understand I'm trying to restrain myself from saying things about particular people who, in some cases, I respect. But this view has circulated throughout the social media platforms and has picked up a little bit of steam. Do you see it going anywhere, or is this just the usual rabble-rousing from the sidelines?
I think it's an operation, and I do not think it is going anywhere. I think Joe Kent, who hardly anyone had heard of before, he did successfully run for Congress some years back, but he was a no-name. He was somebody who seemed to be a patriot, former special forces, etc. But he was caught leaking, and he was sidelined by the Trump administration for months. And so he decided to go out in a blaze of glory and get what he has gotten, which is media love. He has this new respect from the media, who is, of course, anyone who goes off on Trump, which he did in his resignation letter, becomes a media hero. And so he is a hero temporarily because everything he said was a lie, but he gets this strange new respect from the media and from this small quotient of people who want to blame Israel. Now, there was an interesting poll, I believe it was the CNN poll, which asked specifically that question. Who do you side with on the policies of Iran? More with Trump or with, and they named Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, and some of the other people. Which do you side with? This was asked of Republicans. 6% sided with this quotient of non-MAGA people who are anti-Israel at the moment. 6%, and the vast majority sided with Trump. So I think it's a very noisy and small amount. It is not having an effect.
Got it.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.